Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is a small section of my Death Guard army, the Rancid Nirvana, and I've made some objective markers for them out of 3D printed things my friend gave me, and I've made a bit of scenery out of the March of War sunken barrels and mushrooms. Two little boards there I think look pretty cool for my table, and I've made a little video of how I made them, so sit back, relax and enjoy. Hi everyone, today I'm going to be making some Nurgle terrain for my table. I've got some 3mm MDF boards here, got two of those, and I've got some March of War sunken barrels and March of War mushrooms, and I'm going to be making, using GW's Nurgle's Rot and also Stirland Mud and Battlemere. We're going to be making like a nurgly, muddy pools with barrels coming out and mushrooms growing to the side, and hopefully it's going to look great. So the first thing you want to do is plan where everything's going to go. So I've got my Sharpie here. On this one I'm going to do 3 pools sort of towards the edge. Got a barrel there, a nice big circle here, and another barrel here, a smaller circle there, that's a smaller barrel. There you go. And then another small one in this corner. There we go. And then the mushrooms will go on in the muddiest bit. So I'm going to use Stirland Mud, which is the wetter of the two. That's going to go around the very edge of the Nurgle pool. Nurgle Battlemere is a bit drier, so that'll go towards the middle bits there, going to be a bit drier. And then if there are any super dry areas, I'm going to use Army Painter's Brown Battleground. And for this one, I'm going to be doing one large pool in the middle with 2 bigger barrels in it. There, so my pen, draw a circle around there, nice and simple. And then again, the mud go around the edge, so I'll put a mushroom here and a mushroom there. Excellent. I'm going to glue these down and then show you when I'm done. So these are now glued in place. I did add an extra one just there. Yeah, I got my mushrooms and my barrels, and now I'm going to go and give them a spray. Chaos Black, Games Workshop. So we're back. It's primed black. Both of them sprayed Chaos Black, and now I'm going to start by painting the barrels, and I'm going to be using lead belcher for the barrels. There it is, and I'll come back when they're painted. So I've painted the barrels in lead belcher now, so I'm going to shade them using Nuln Oil, and while I'm waiting for them to dry, I'll paint the mushrooms. The stalks will be in Sandy Dust, and the tops, the caps, are going to be in Mephiston Red, and come back when they're done. So the barrels are now shaded and the mushrooms have their base paints on. Not too happy with the mushrooms, so I'm going to revisit them later on. But for now, I'm going to dry brush the barrels with a bit of GW's Necron compound. Now we're going to make the barrels nice and rusty, so I've got my Typhus Corrosion and an old paintbrush, and give it a bit of a shake. And this is like a texture paint, it's got little bits in it, and I get a little bit on the brush, and then dab it towards the top of this barrel here, I don't know if you can see that, but it's got a bit of texture to it. So that's being dabbed in, not brushed, but just dabbed across the top like that. And then all the way around the barrel. This is what we're going to use to dry brush on our riser rust in a minute to make it a nice rusty barrel. And then again, under this line just here, a bit more. Remember to use an old brush because the bits will get inside the bristles and probably ruin it. So this is one I've used before for typhus corrosion, so it's used to it. And I'm going to do that to all of them, and I'll be back in a minute. So the typhus corrosion is dry now on the barrels. Some of that one. So I'm going to use GW's Riser Rust and make it a rusty barrel. Back in a sec. I'm going to start with this one. So I've got a bit of Riser Rust on my dry brush. Nice and light. Trying to catch the areas that you've done with the typhus corrosion. I did the barrels first because I might end up catching the ground area, and that means I'll have to do all the green and brown again, so that's why I did the barrels first. I feel they're quite rusty now. Now that the barrels are done, I'm going to be marking out what areas are going to be the Nurgle Swamp pools. So I'm going to paint circles of Caliban green around, so I'm going to have three, one each around these barrels and one big one here around these three together. I'm going to paint circles of Caliban green around, and then back when I'm done. So the Caliban green's now on, so now I'm going to use Dryad bark to paint the bits that are going to be ground. Dryad bark is very similar base colour to the Sterland mud and Battlemere, so this is just going to go underneath the technical paint. So I'll start with this and then back in a sec. Oh, including the bases of the mushrooms as well. Great. So the Dryad bark brown is now painted on. I'm going to go over this with the technical paints. I've got Sterling Mud and Sterling Battlemere. Mud is the more liquidy wet one, so I'm going to use that around the very edge of the Nurgle pool, and then Battlemere just after that. So it started. Got my GW texture spreading tool. Use the big side for the wide areas. I'll use a small side when I'm going under the mushrooms here. Start with the big. I'm not going to go onto the very rim, because that's where my hands are going to be when I'm picking it up, and I'll just end up rubbing it off over time. Right, I'm going to come back when this is all done. So I've finished with the Sterling mud around the very edge of the Nurgle pool. I'm going to use some of the Sterling Battlemere and my texture spreader and go a bit further out into the edges and get back when I'm done. Now that both of the muds are dry, I'm going to put in the Nurgle's Rot into the green pools. and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this. Good shake. A bit more shake. There we go. Now, rather than paint this in, I dab it in. So, a bit on your brush, don't need to set it down, and just start dabbing. You might be able to hear my dog grabbing some food and loudly crunching in the background. That's perfect timing, thank you, buddy. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Don't look at me. Right, off camera. Just dab it into the corners. So not painting, dabbing. Dab, 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 dab. You paint, you get a smear like that. You don't want a smear. You want a dab. Right, so I'm going to come back and this is done. So the Nurgle rock pools are done, and as you can see I've been experimenting here with some sand. I was going to use brown battleground, but I thought it was a bit too light, so I've mixed in some, this I just got today, Geek Gaming Scenics anthracite sand. I made a little pot of them both mixed in here together, and I'm actually going to use Gamer Geeks or Geek Gaming Scenics fast drying basing glue to stick it all down. So I've made two, so I'll test it on this one, and we'll see how it looks. So there we go. I've added the brown battleground. Eye painter. I didn't go with the anthracite, a little bit too shiny. But on the plus side, the mix that I made of anthracite and army painter stuff, I made a base using the March of War lava realm. Oh, is that gonna focus? There we go. And it's that's what the mix looks like. I thought it was a bit too shiny for the Nurgle swamps, but yeah, I quite like it for these bases. So happy accident. So the bases are done. I've added some tuff to this one, and this one I'm going to add some tufts in a bit. But yeah, I'm really happy with how they've turned out. It's always nice to get a little project that you can start and finish in a couple of days. So I've got a little bit of a win, and hopefully it'll inspire you guys to make something yourself for your tables. If you do, I'd love to see it. Hit me up on Instagram, that'd be great. Happy days.